Dylan Curran, a web developer from Ireland, started a thread on Twitter that quickly went viral. He tweeted, "Want to freak yourself out? I'm going to show you just how much of your information the likes of Facebook and Google store about you without you even realizing it." Well, the string of tweets that followed detailed Dylan's discovery that Google had stored the equivalent of about 3 million Word documents worth of information on him, including every Google search that he had made since 2009. Facebook had stored roughly another 400,000 documents worth of information on him. And Dylan Curran joins me now from Waterford, Ireland. Dylan, thanks so much for joining us. I'm curious, what were some of your biggest and most surprising findings, and how do you sort of compare the two companies' data collection methods?
Good afternoon, Rena. So basically, I collected the archives of Facebook and Google, and Facebook stored pretty much what you'd expect. They stored all the messages you've ever sent or received, all of your Facebook calls, all your Facebook audio messages, all the files you've ever sent or received. And then they logged also every time you logged into Facebook and from where. And then besides that, they stored your phone contacts, not your Facebook contacts. So your phone contacts, your phone call records, and your phone text messages. So these are external to Facebook, but Facebook decided to store them anyway.
So some of this information, Dylan, that you asked for, are these things that the companies you told specifically, explicitly not to store?
No, so if I was going to, I'd have to go into Google to get into that part. In terms of Facebook, I never gave permissions for them to take the phone call records or phone text messages, but they took them anyway. And I know a lot of people on Android using Facebook face the same issue. When it comes to Google, I can explain what they ended up taking. They ended up storing all of your search history, your Google Calendar events, your location every time you turn on your phone. So if you use Google Maps and it turns on your location, but you don't turn off the location setting, they will log the location where you are and what time it is every time you turn on your phone. So if you just flick up and see a notification, Google will actually log the location. And apart from that, they also logged all the images and files you've downloaded, your Google Fit steps and workouts, all of your photos and metadata, every ad you've ever viewed or clicked, every app you've ever launched or used, every app you've ever installed or searched for, and then all of your YouTube history.
It's just remarkable. I want to go back for a section on the location tracking. You actually tweeted out a map where Google had stored all of your location data for a year and reportedly were tracking you, whether you attended the events on your Google Calendar or not. And the detail is actually pretty shocking that you get. Can you talk to me a little bit about how specific that information was?
Of course, I found it quite remarkable. I basically had a job interview. This was around November, and the interviewer set up a Google Calendar event. I never clicked attending, never clicked interested. He just said it, or he just set me as an attendee. But then when I actually attended the interview and I came out, Google Maps had mapped my location to the Google Calendar events location, and then it showed status confirmed attendance. So they had mapped my location and then found out that I'd gotten to the interview and then decided to confirm my attendance.
And, you know, what we've also been covering a lot lately is how these companies are sort of using this type of information to create advertising profiles. They actually created a profile on you. What did you find out about that? What shocked you about your profile?
So you can't actually see your profile in terms of Google. They don't make that abundantly clear. I mostly found a lot of data that I can see how they would make predictions of my advertising profile based on that data. Because if you think about it and you take someone's search history and all of that stuff I went into before, that really does compose the identity of a person. And it composes who they are, what they're doing, where they are, like who they're seeing, who they're friends with, their career, etc. So you can really get to the bones of someone using this kind of data.
So you talk about Facebook's ad profile as well. Are they using information from private messages, or would you say this is only public information?
Yeah, so Facebook does use all of the information that's available to it. So it'll use your messages, your contacts, etc. And then it will predict what you're going to be interested in based off of that information. So that doesn't matter whether it's a private message, public status, a call, an audio message, etc. They'll take all of that, collaborate with it, and then make a profile based on you with that information.
You wrote, "We would never let the government or a corporation put cameras or microphones in our homes or location trackers on us, but we just went ahead and did it ourselves." You're a web developer. Many of us may not really understand the impact of all the information we give away when we just Google something or log on to Facebook. Do you think we're past the point of no return? Have we just given up too much of our privacy at this point?
What I would say is that for the current generation, and maybe the older generation, so millennials and up, the damage is a little bit done. I mean, they have enough information on us to create an advertising profile for the rest of our lives, and it's enough information that can be used against us for the rest of our lives. Not saying that they will, just that that information does exist and it can be used for malicious purposes. What I would encourage is that with the upcoming generations of children, we should look at maybe putting in some measures where children don't have to pay a price when they're older for things they did when they were children or when they were teenagers. I think they do have a right to grow up and make mistakes without having that come back to bite them in the future. And right now, if you are a child and you are Googling things, that is being recorded with or without your consent. And we don't have many avenues of life where children don't have any consent.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and people are curious. I'm just curious, though, after you found out all this information about your behavior online, did it change in any way? Did you delete any social media accounts?
No, I didn't delete any social media accounts because I didn't really get a chance. Everything blew up so quickly that I've been thrust in the public eye, so I do need to keep a tap on things. So I do need Facebook and Twitter right now. And I'm not really encouraging people to delete their social media because I don't think that's the answer. I don't think that would really solve anything because these companies are really doing what they're made to do. And they're just providing a supply for a demand that's there. So people really need to take it into their own hands and decide for themselves whether it's worth it. I don't think everybody needs to delete their accounts because these services are fantastic and they provide a great utility to everybody. I don't think the answer is just to delete everything because that's not possible.
But Dylan, how do regular folks like myself who are not web developers, who aren't as savvy as you, to be able to discern exactly how my information is being used, how do we protect ourselves to make sure that our locations aren't being tracked and our information isn't being tracked?
I can only speak as far as Google and Facebook, where there are settings to opt out of their data collection. So that does exist, but not a lot of people have realized that's there. So you can go in and disable those settings. But also, I think people need to just, if something's free on the internet, you're the product. That's the general saying. So if you are using a product and if you're using a service and it's free and it's really good, something's going on in the background because that company has to make money some way. And that way is information a lot of the time. So they're collecting information on you every second you're using that service, 100% of the time. No service on the internet is free without making you the product.
That's a good point. You know, over the last few days, Edward Snowden, along with hundreds of thousands of others, have retweeted you. You said that someone actually tried to alter all of your passwords on your social media accounts. I'm curious how things have changed for you since your tweets went viral.
In terms of things changing, I've received a shocking level of attention that I could never have predicted. So I was basically nobody before this exploded, and now I'm just receiving hundreds of interview requests, thousands and thousands of messages asking me for advice and what do I think about things and will I do this and will I do that. It's been overall a really humbling experience, and then besides that, it is making me think that there's something going on a larger scale with the population where people just don't understand what these products are doing and the potential damage that can happen in the future from just freely using them.
Dylan Curran coming to us from Ireland. Dylan, thank you for your time.
No worries. Thanks, Rita.